the thing that really angers me, that this is the reason why I'm speaking about this, is because on social media with this whole cancel culture population thing that's increasing slowly, is that there is no wiggle room for the different parts of a person, or just the one thing that you hear about a specific person completely solidates your view on that person, when majority of the time you have to hear both sides of the story. When there is a chick online saying, oh, this guy's not responding to me, well, he was probably at work, he was probably doing something else, or he's not interested. And I think it's just a point where you just need to let go of that kind of thing and not listen to the internet sometimes and go down rabbit holes of why someone doesn't care about you, why they haven't responded in the 2.5 seconds that you sent that message. So it means that you are not in a good relationship or good standing point with this person. And that's absolute bullshit. And I don't think a lot of people think about that, because we're all used to this quick dopamine effect of scrolling and getting that huge quick hit every few seconds. And that's what our brain is chasing. And when people don't also respond in that way that we're used to and getting so engraved into our souls about, everything crashes out. Everything feels broken. Everything feels like an anxiety attack. You're waiting for that text. You're thumping your legs. You're like tapping on a table. And you need to learn to take things at a certain pace. And scrolling does not help. The addiction to scrolling in social media nowadays is really not helping people and their time efficiency in their minds. And what I mean by that is, we're so quick to judge and we're so quick to scroll that we're not in a generation that is used to sitting still without this small dopamine for like 3 seconds. Like when I was learning about video editing and hooks and things like that, you have to capture people in the first 5 seconds. And I'm like, in real life, you can probably have a normal conversation and the really deep stuff comes later. Yet when it comes to social media, people are so quick to judge, so quick to scroll just because they didn't get a dopamine effect. And so people are not willing to sit through a conversation. And that's kind of sad nowadays. Or even you're in the living room with people that you care about, or with your family, or even with your friends. You're going out on an outing with your friends and you're still scrolling on your phone. We're missing a huge chunk of our lives of communication, verbal communication, physical communication, because of this device, because of multiple devices that we own. Like, it's not just this, it's even people that love gaming and stuff like that. Not dissing any hobbies or anything like that, but it is a huge concern about communication and where the world is going and where people are going and this new generation is going when it comes to this dopamine searching addiction. Because people are just getting used to it, or they're being born into it. People are getting phones at such a young age now. Yes, I did as well. But it's such a lack of communication. If I were to literally do a bird's eye view of a whole street of restaurants, I can guarantee you a lot of people are on their phone. I work in a restaurant. I own a restaurant with my parents. And the amount of times I see people scrolling on their phone, unless if it's a meeting that they have to be seriously locked in, I cannot believe how many times I see couples going out on a date night and you're going out to talk to each other, but you're on your phone scrolling. And I'm victim of this when I was with my boyfriend, and it's so scary in a sense that we don't know each other besides reels sometimes, and like stupid communications and memes, and that's not what the human experience is about. That's like quick propaganda being short-circuiting your mind, brain rotting it, which is why we brain rot and we doom scroll. But that's what the media is basically about, and it's not really about connecting. And then people feel annoyed that they don't have connections or actual real deep conversations with people, and it's like, well, no wonder, because you're spending majority of your time scrolling on your phone. Which, going back to the main thing that I was talking about earlier, about people and their attention to messages specifically, not only one, it's still something on your phone, and you're still being addicted to your phone waiting for the communication to come back. But the fact is, we're so egocentric, and we do need to get out of our heads. That is my main point when I come to this. But it's also, we need to get rid of the fact that we judge people so quickly. I remember scrolling so many times back in school and judging events that have happened from the one perspective. And then later on, when the second perspective came into play, how the whole thing shifted. There's always two sides to a story, or even more sides to a story. And people are sometimes not willing to hear the second side because the first side sounded juicy, and maybe sometimes manipulated because the person that was actually speaking about it was going to twist their words, not thinking that the other person was going to come out and say what actually happened. That's just the reality of it. And we need to get used to be listening. Actually listening, sitting through things that are longer than just a 3-second hook, and educating ourselves a lot better. Schools are dying, basically, but also because they're based on an old industrial revolution system. However, that doesn't justify the fact that we're having a huge depletion in real life connection and communication with people. And then we're getting a lot of increase in social media use, basically. People on their phones consistently and not being present. And I think that's a really depressing and serious topic to be talking about.